Welcome back to some new r/PettyRevenge stories, where people share small victories over those who wronged them. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Shouldn't Yell. I worked at a telecommunications company call center for a while. I worked hard and got trained to fix multiple problems, as well as being taught some of the basics of billing and shipping, so I could answer questions and perform basic fixes. My transfer numbers were low and call times were low, but customer satisfaction surveys were high. I often had people call and start yelling. If they swore, we gave them a warning. If they continued, we could hang up. For 2 weeks we were severely short-staffed. Wait times were often over an hour, and everyone was yelling. But most calmed down after their rant and were grateful I could fix things quickly. Until this one guy. He actually started to call nicely and explained his problems. I repeated them back and assured him I could fix them. I then had to ask him some account questions. That was the point where he went off, that I was wasting his time. He swore. I warned him. He swore again. I hung up. The thing is, he had issues with billing for mobile and home internet. I could have fixed all of that, and quickly, as they were common issues. By swearing at me, he had an hour wait time, and then he would more than likely have 2 transfers to the different departments. I checked his account later, and he only had one of the issues fixed, as notes stated that he swore again at the mention of the transfer, and they hung up. The next story is called Bad Manager. My first job after graduating high school in 2008 was as an office employee in the distribution center in my hometown for one of the statewide newspapers. In retrospect, it was actually fun for the most part. My scheduled hours were 12 AM to 6:30 AM, with Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, which worked for me because I enjoyed the nighttime, and even today I still work mid-shift. The assistant manager, Aaron, and I got along well, and the other 2 people in the office, Doug and Scott, were good guys too. The only problem we had was our manager, Barb. Looking back on it, she could have gotten in trouble for a bunch of the stuff she pulled, forcing us, who were hourly employees, to put only 40 hours max per week on our timesheets, when we were actually working 55 plus hours a week, downgrading Aaron from salary-based assistant manager position to an hourly position, while still working as the AM, and even driving by our houses to see if our cars were on our driveway if we called in sick. When she wasn't doing stuff like that, she was just being annoying. On Mondays, Aaron and I were usually the only ones scheduled to work. Simple nights and small papers, so it was an easy day. A few times, for whatever reason, Barb showed up just out of the blue. We'd asked her why she was there, and her reply was always, "I don't know, just feel I need to be here." And then she retreated to her office. In early 2011, after over a year of constant overtime hours not getting counted, one day Doug just never showed up again, which I truly don't blame him. I had enough and actively started searching for a new job. It was on a Friday in March I got a call that I was hired by a company, and they asked when I could start. I told them to just let me tie up some loose ends in my current job, and I start on Monday. I had zero intentions of doing a 2-week notice, but as a courtesy, I did at least get together with Aaron for dinner, and I told him what was going to happen, so he would know for the following Monday. He had been on leave at the time. On that Sunday we had 4 down routes, which we had been dealing with for over a month already. As mentioned earlier, there was another office employee, Scott, but he couldn't deliver routes due to some medical conditions he had. So Barb and I had to each deliver 2 whole routes by ourselves. I told her that I would go ahead and work the later time, 10 AM, after delivering my routes, to handle any calls for redeliveries, papers accidentally missed by carriers, to give to our redelivery carrier. Of course, I did this specifically so I could close everything up and leave my key. As 9:50 AM came, I typed up my resignation letter that I later taped onto Barb's office door. In that letter, I specifically stated, I will no longer answer any phone calls from anyone associated with this company, and rest assured, if anyone shows up at my residence, they will have the police called on them. At 10 AM, I taped it onto her door, locked all the doors, put my key into her office letterbox, and left out a door that locked from the inside, and never ran or looked back, leaving Barb to be down another office employee. The absolute cherry on top of everything was Aaron quit 2 weeks after I quit. The last story is called Street Hockey. Growing up in Canada, me and my friends often played road hockey. Unfortunately, at some point, this neighbor started hating us for it and would call the cops for any little thing. I never understood it. We were always respectful to his property and his family. Regardless, the cops never cared and would just tell him what we were doing wasn't illegal. One day, our tennis ball went under his truck, which was parked on the street, very far from where the hockey was being played. But someone missed a pass and the ball went gently down the street. I got on my hands and knees and used my stick to get the ball out. Out comes the neighbor, Pat, yelling at me that he already called the cops. The cops show up, tell us to move further down the street, and then hand Pat his parking ticket. He had parked on the street on the very first day that winter parking was in effect, and he was not allowed to park there anymore. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.